Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to your August 2023 horoscope. My name is Jeff Smith. I am your professional astrologer and tour guide for the month of August. We're going to go over the cosmic weather for your sign specifically. This is a general reading for Sagittarius, and we're going to do a couple different things today. First of all, what I'm going to do is point out where the activity in the houses of your sign, the full moon, I should say full moons and new moon are going to take place. We have 2 full moons this month. It's some crazy energy in August, Sagittarius, and you're smack right dab in the middle of it. So we're going to talk about where these full moons and this new moon are going to take place in the houses that will influence different areas of your life. Then I want to point out the retrogradation going on. And that means that by the end of the month, we're going to have a total of 8 planets retrograde. 8, including the nodes and Chiron. I count those in. All because retrogrades ask us to get some kind of going back to the drawing board and redoing things, reassessing our lives and the things that we have going on it, and especially during the month of August. We're going to see a lot of activity on the world stage mid-month. We're going to talk about that also. We're going to talk about the weekends feel good, but the middle of the week, I'll show you soon. First of all, without further ado, let's just get to it, okay? So the full moons take place on the 1st, actually the 2nd of August, and that's in Aquarius. That's in 9 degrees Aquarius, and that happened in your 3rd house of communication, short trips. A lot of you Sagittariuses could have been traveling, going short places. Then the new moon is going to be taking place in Leo at 23 degrees in your 9th house. And that's going to be conjunct Venus also. We'll pay attention to that date later on. That's a good time for you. It looks like more travel. It looks like a better philosophy on life because, let's face it, Sagittarius, things have been kind of heavy lately, but these retrogrades play into a review of our life. If you look at your chart right here, you've got planets and luminaries down here on the bottom half of your chart, which is more personal, more private. This is you getting your ducks in a row, and then you have this energy out here, which is more outward. It's more positive, not more positive, more public, I would say, and you've got these planets, and it looks like there's trying to strike a balance here. You know what I mean? And we've got everybody interacting together all at once. It's a crazy month. It's a crazy month, Sagittarius. So this new moon, this full moon, this full moon is taking place early in the month in your 3rd house, communications, short trips, your siblings, that kind of thing. And full moons illuminate things in our life. So maybe we needed to work on our communications. And with being an Aquarius, it is about being inventive in the way that we think and the way that we express ourselves. A lot of you Sagittariuses might start writing down how you feel, that kind of thing. It's a different approach, maybe speaking into your phone and voice recording it, something like that. Then when we move on to the new moon taking place in your 9th house, this is long distance travel. This is also going back to school. But when this is so close to your midheaven and ready to transition into your midheaven towards the end of the month, there's going to be huge job opportunities coming for all you Sagittariuses, raises, you name it. It's going to be a lot of awareness and loving what you do too, because you're taking a lot of action, being methodical, and it maybe home is frustrating for you right now. There's a focus on that. There's Saturn retrograde in your 4th house, Neptune in its own sign, but it's retrograde also, so it's a little weakened. Both of these planets are weakened. Even though Neptune rules Pisces, it's still a little weakened when it's retrograde. It's asking you to get some perspective at home. Are you spending too much time at work? Are you trying to balance this out? Again, this looks like balance for Sagittarius. You know what I mean? And the sun's going to be traveling through your solar 9th house. So again, this is illuminating new ways of things. You could be going to spiritual treats, something like that. It's also looking for your soulmate, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So what we're going to do now that I showed you the houses that they're going to be, oh, I didn't tell you about the other full moon. Usually there's only one, but there's two. The full moon is taking place in Pisces in your fourth house. So we've got your third, your fourth, and your ninth house, and some of your 10th highlighted for the lunations that are going on. The full moon in your third at the beginning of the month, the new moon in your ninth mid-month. We'll go over that. And then the full moon at the end of the month on the 30th taking place in your fourth house. Again, getting your house in order. Maybe there are some things that need to be done. You need to be a little bit more stricter with your children, or maybe you need to find a new way of expressing your emotions. You know what I mean? Trusting your intuition at this time also. All right, so what we're going to do now, instead of looking at the full moon and new moon charts, we're going to do this. We are going to look at the calendar of all these astrological events. This is what I do. I print out a calendar every month beforehand and write out all the movements of the moon and the full moons and all of the aspects, the major ones that are going to impact us in a personal and worldly manner, you know. So let's look at August, okay? In July, all the lunations took place on Mondays, which was great because I host a meditation class on Mondays, and they lined up perfectly with my meditations. Now they're happening on Wednesdays in the middle of the week. I'm going to call August the month of Wacky Wednesdays or Wonky Wednesdays. Not wacky, because wacky almost seems like it's fun. And some of us, you know, especially fire signs, they will be fun. But yeah. Let's talk about Wednesdays. So we got the full moon in Aquarius on the 2nd. Great lineup for the week. I had a great week that week. And then this weekend also, there's going to be a square to Jupiter. And then we find out that during all through Wednesdays, the energy changes every week. The moon moves into Gemini, so it's a wishy-washy kind of energy. We're mentally in our heads, you know. We don't know how we're thinking. And not only that, but Mars is making a square to Uranus. So the planet of action is kind of having some struggle with the planet of sudden changes and revolutionary changes. This is when we start to hear some big news on the world stage. Around the 9th, you heard it here first. So I told you we were also going to shift towards the weekends too, and the weekends are full of trines, conjunctions, one square, but hey, it's not a problem. But the 12th, for fire signs especially, the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th are an excellent time to really get out there and enjoy yourself. I see that relationships improving, relationships starting on the 13th. That's for fire signs, including you, Sagittarius. And the moon moves into a nice harmonious aspect within Leo. Anytime any planet transits into a fellow fire sign, it is always going to be trine to your sign. So that's a good flow of creative energy, loving energy. But again, here we go. And I hope you enjoy the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th, because on the 15th, the sun squares Uranus. So you know, that's ego, that self is at odds again with this crazy erratic energy. Again, we're going to find out more news on the world stage. And then if you notice with the new moon in Leo, that's going to be 23 degrees. So any planets making aspects to 23 degrees, see where this new moon is happening in your personal chart. It's going to differ from your solar chart. But it's going to be in 23 degrees Leo. So right away, you know that this new moon is going to be harmonious with your sign. If anything happens within a fellow fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, it's going to be harmonizing in some way with you. And not only that, that Mars and square Uranus that happened on the 9th now converts into a trine also. So this is good energy to get things done. Make change. And Leo is all about taking the initiative and moving forward. And this is a great time to do it. However, once again, as the days go by, we're going to be emotionally frustrated on the 17th and then ready to make action on the 18th. And then we balance out on the 19th. The moon moves very fast through the signs. And then on the 20th, again, a very good weekend. The moon in Libra is going to be making a great fortunate luck is on your side aspect to Venus retrograde, even though it's retrograde. So we're going to be in tune with our emotions, especially after that Leo new moon, Sagittarius. You're really going to be in sync with things. All right. And then the moon moves into water sign, Scorpio, on Monday. And then here we go. We're ramping up to another powerful Wednesday. But before that, Mercury trines Pluto on the 22nd, which gives us a really good time to make some good changes in our communication and getting our point across without being too volatile. However, Mars is opposite Neptune. So that's going to be the action that we want to take. It's almost like I want to say that there's action being taken to lift the veil. All right. So there can be more news coming out. Okay. The world stage is going to change on the 9th throughout the rest of the month. Just be aware of that. Then we move on to another wonky Wednesday, the 23rd. The sun is finally moving into the sign of Virgo. Now it's not so harmonious, Now it's a more grounding energy. The sun moves out of a fire sign, which is harmonious with you, and it moves into a more grounding energy. You're kind of nesting in, getting ready for the fall. I bet you all of you are getting your pumpkin spice on. Oh, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? But, that's when Virgo season starts. Not only that, ding, 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 Mercury's going retrograde on the 23rd. And Mercury is going to be retrograde from the 23rd to September 14th. So that's a 3-week period where you don't want to start this new job. You know what I mean? You don't want to sign any contracts. You want to back up your computer, back up your info, your phone, that kind of stuff. Mercury retrograde causes all kinds of electronic problems. Great. I'm going to have shitty internet for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? But it's also about, hold back on speaking. Maybe there's a different approach to this. Then the moon moves into your sign, Sagittarius, on the 24th until the 25th. And that is going to also be a ramp up to a good weekend. Mars is going to be trine Pluto also. So it's going to be, good, powerful changes happening on the world stage and in your personal life. Then as we close out the month, Mars is moving into Libra. And the sun, which is now in Virgo, is going to be opposite Saturn in Pisces. So again, we're weighing out the options here. What's the illusion? What isn't? And it's time to take action. Mars is really moving through this month. You know what I mean? Then on the 28th, again, the energy shifts from a great positive weekend to, oh my God, we're getting up to another wonky Wednesday. The moon moves into Aquarius, and Uranus goes retrograde on the 28th. So that's planet 7. Okay. Well, that's actually 8 after Mercury goes retrograde. The sun makes a square to Jupiter. It's a short thing, but we might feel a little, I don't know, we're not feeling too good about ourselves. You know what I mean? And then on the full moon, it's happening in Pisces. And that, remember, is taking place in your 4th house at 7 degrees Pisces. So this is going to be a focus on home. At the beginning of the month, it was a focus on work and career for you, and now it is happening at home. So it's illuminating situations at home, probably emotional issues that need to be taken care of. Just remember, Mercury is going to be retrograde from that point on. So be careful with miscommunicating. Get your feelings right, especially the weekend before, the 24th and the 25th, Sag, is when you really want to start knuckling down on how you're going to tackle this full moon. So, it's going to be a very emotional time. Maybe it's a good time to release some emotions on the 30th. And don't take it out on your kids or your spouse or anything like that. But it looks, like I said, you've been in this harmonious push and pull, but it still feels good. And then this month is really going to start shaking things up. But it's time for action for you, Sagittarius. And as we close out, it's going to be taking place in your 4th house of home. So focus on matters at home, So with that being said, Sagittarius, it looks like a crazy month, but you got this. You've got way up until the 22nd of this month to really take some action and get some things done, get things done at work, get things done at the house. Remember, it's all about balance for you, Sagittarius. So I hope this resonated with you. Thank you very much. I hope you like the whole new calendar thing. That's the one, that's how when I do my research, that's what I write out and I dictate to you. So I thought, you know what, instead of just talking about it and staring at this wheel, we'll put everything on that. I'll just take a picture of my calendar and put it up that way. So this is how we're going to do things moving forward. And will be great. You know what I mean? It's a more visual representation of what's going on. And this is how I actually do astrology. I really don't use letters. I use the symbols. And, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the calendar and speaking it all to you. So I'm speaking some truth here. Get ready for some wonky Wednesdays. And we'll see you in September. Hang in there, Sag.